Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my country farmhouse. I'm Marnay, and I am working on a little project here, and I thought maybe you all might be interested in checking out what I've got going on here. So first of all, I want to let you know that I do have Tilly's quilt finished. I got it quilted on Friday. Erin had quilted it for me, and this morning I binded it. And I'm sorry, this is where I need a design wall. I binded it in the same color that Tilly's name is in, and hopefully you can kind of see up close the binding here. It's just this little colorful footprints, and the back turned out amazing. So as you can see, I put this hearts and paw prints on this, and this is Minky, and I put it on him this morning, and he loves it. And another little thing that Erin had put in here, and I have to show you, is she did a little custom stitching in it just to give it a little pizzazz. She had a Schnauzer block pattern, and we put that in there in a chocolate color, and it just personalizes it for Tilly. I just love it. So I'm sure this is going to be one of many. So today I'm working on another little project for Tilly, and this is probably something I should have gotten to a while ago, but we have so much going on here. Trying to get the studio ready, which I probably could take you out for a little tour afterwards of this, because we hired some drywallers and they are doing the finishing on the drywall out there, and they've been working on it for 2 days, and I am beyond excited. Jim is out in his shop, and he is taking care of some much needed things out there, because we did get 2 dressers yesterday. They're long dressers, and what we're going to do is make a big cutting table for him and I. So when we trim the quilts for long arming and stuff, or I need a table to cut large fabrics, or just lay stuff out, it's just really nice. It's kind of like what I had in the farmhouse, but I'm thinking this might be even bigger since we have a bigger space now. So that we got 2 long dressers. They're used. They're going to need a good cleaning and a painting, and that's another project. My project today, though, I'm going to get right onto it, is this little doll bed here that I have on my table. This is something that Erin had given me a while ago, and this is probably like an antique. It's all metal, and it had wheels on it, and we took the wheels off because it was missing one, so I'm going to have to get some little pads for the bottom. And Jim had sandblasted it, and then I wanted this blue color, and it's called Peekaboo Blue, and I just love it. This is for Tilly. And I know my dog is very spoiled. Yes, he is, because he is the only baby, and he has gotten me through some rough times. He ain't been here very long, but it's been rough. So most of you know. But Tilly's very good. He's very close to my heart, and he is my only baby, and yes, I'm going to spoil him. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to make a little mattress for this. It has a little spring on this bed, and Jim put a couple of zip ties in here because I thought it was kind of sagging, but this is an old bed, and it's just something that I'm going to put out in the studio for him to lay in, because he has a little comfy bed in here that he does nap in. So I want to give him something to lay on while we're out there, because I will be spending a lot of time out there. And also, I got another exciting thing to tell you. Jim got me some amazing cameras. So video quality, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that is going to be a lot better than what I do here and what I've been doing in the past. He's been researching some cameras, and we have some little cameras, and he's going to set them up so it will make better quality videos, and being able to shoot from like the design wall or where I'm sewing. It'll just be easier, a lot easier than trying to do what I do here, because I operate with a gimbal on my phone. So anyway, like I said, a lot of things going on. So this is what I've got started. I've gotten this ticking, and this was something that was given to me by one of the ladies in my sewing group that I was sewing with for quite some time. And this is a duck cloth, and I have quite a bit of it. So what I did is I measured the length and the width, and it's 13 inches wide, I think, for a nice little mattress, by 23 inches long. So what I'm going to do is make a boxed little mattress pad to kind of lay into this little bed. And I'm just to kind of give you an idea. And I'm not going to bore you with all my sewing, but I will just kind of take you along as I go. So if anybody that hasn't ever boxed something before, I'm gonna do it about 2 inches thick, but I cut my strip to attach to the top and bottom at 2.5. So when I start sewing, I want to leave about a 1/4 inch at the end to leave an opening so I can add the side pieces, which you'll see when I go to add them. I'll show you up close. But you can see I've got this little strip, and I've got right sides together, and I've just got it all pinned. And I'm just going to put the long sides on each side, and then I've got the 2 short sides for each end. And when I leave those 1/4 inch on each end, I don't sew it all the way up to the end because I need to box this in, and you need that little bit of seam allowance to kind of stitch it together, if it makes any sense. I've made some box things before, and the first time I ever did boxing, it was a little hard and a little tricky, and I didn't know that trick. I've learned a lot, but this is for a dog bed, so if it's not perfect, I'm okay with it, but I've got a general idea. So my idea is to make a little mattress for this little bed for Tilly, maybe make him a little bone-shaped pillow, and his quilt that I've made him. This is the size of a baby quilt. I didn't measure it. I know Erin took the measurements of it. But this is something that's going to go with him wherever we go. Whether we go in the car or the couch. He might even want it on the bed. I don't know. I just finished it this morning, but he loves it. He laid here on the floor, and I covered him up with it, and he just loved it. So this little quilt is a little bit too big for this bed, but I probably will make a little, maybe like a hand-tied quilt, just to put on the top of it to make it look like a little bed, you know. But this is just something for him to lay in while we're out. So I'm going to stitch this together, and I will kind of keep you programmed on the process of when I get it sewed, okay? So, okay, my friends, I got the sides sewed on, and like I said, I left a little bit of a 1/4 inch. I can show you this from the top to the bottom. So I didn't sew this all the way to the end. And then, of course, I sewed one side on because I want to make sure I know what I'm doing if I try to show you something and I don't explain it right. So when I sewed the short piece across the long, the short side, I started that one. I didn't sew it all the way to the end, so I left a 1/4 inch there. And I just guesstimated, you can measure whatever you want. I'm just kind of showing you how I do it. So when I go to join these 2 seams from the long side and the short side, you didn't sew that all the way. So it should, when I sew the long side and the short side together in a corner, they should meet up, and it should close that off because I didn't sew it all the way to the end. And I know this is shoddy camera work to try to show you this to what I'm doing, because I don't know if I can really teach you how to box, but this is what I'm doing, so I'm just kind of showing. So I'm going to go ahead and sew on the other short side, and then you can see I've got these little angles. And I'm silly because I haven't done this in a long time, and at first when I was laying this out, I thought, oh my gosh, I needed to cut it longer to meet the other side. So I cut 2 more strips longer, and then I'm looking at it, and I'm like, no, I was right the first time. So sometimes I have to double think myself. I'm just an amateur, and I'm just learning as I go. So, one of the tips I was thinking about this morning, things, is to not overthink things, and sometimes I do, There is no quilting police. And, sometimes practice makes progress. You gotta experiment and play with your fabrics. So, like I said, when I overestimate or overthink, and I'm thinking I needed a longer side, and I'm like, no, I don't. So this is just some of the silly stuff that I go through, so you're not alone. All right, I'm going to finish sewing the other side, and I'll box up the corners, and I'll kind of show you what they look like. I just wanted to show you real quick, when I folded these long sides, I left a 1/4 inch right here. I don't know if you can see. Maybe I should hold this up. I just wanted to, oh gosh, I can't hang on to things either. So I wanted to kind of show you how I've got that 1/4 inch, and I wanted to fold it down before I put the other short piece across the end here, so that these are out of the way and I'm not going to accidentally stitch them. But I'm not gonna sew all the way to the end. I'm gonna start sewing a 1/4 inch away. So when I lay this down, I've got these 2 long strips here, and I've got my 1/4 inch. So I just kind of folded it down, and then my other short piece here, I will lay it on here, And I will just put a couple of pins, a 1/4 inch from each end, and that's where I'll start my sewing, and then I'll end here a 1/4 inch before I get to the end, and I'll just pin this down. So just wanted to show you that real quick. Okay, I sewed the top all the way around. I just want you to know that each corner I started sewing and ending at a 1/4 inch. So I didn't sew all the way to the end. So when you put these together, you know how I showed you how to peel it back. I know trying to show you how to do this is like explaining to somebody how to do a zipper. But honestly, it's not that hard, and I know my camera work isn't really great, so if there's something that you might want to do this at another video when I have better equipment, that would be great. But I just sewed a 1/4 inch all, you know, from when I started and when I ended, so I left that little bit of space so that your sides and your ends will go together, if that makes any sense. I'm sorry. So anyway, when I measured my bed, the length of it was 23, and I said the width was 13. So that's what I cut my sides. I cut my side pieces, you know, the headboard and footboard was 13 inches, and then the length of it was 23. So I cut 2 long 2.5s, which will finish at 2 inches. And then, of course, the width, I cut 2 of the top and the bottom, 13 by 23. So I'm going to turn this right side out, and we'll see how well my sewing is, if I can find my hole, because on one of the long sides I left a little hole so I could turn this right side out, and then I should be able to stuff it. I could have gotten some like thick foam to put in this, but I have some polyester fiber fill, and I think I'll just put some of that in it and just make it soft and cushy, because this is just something that Tilly might lay on or nap on. I'm not going to do anything too fancy. But I just thought it would be something fun to put in my sewing studio, because I know that he will be out there with me a lot. So things look pretty good. I don't think I did too bad on that boxed corner. Like I said, if it's not perfect, it's just a little mattress, but I don't think it's too bad. There's no holes yet, so I'm just kind of poking it out. And this end, and you can kind of see yep, there's no holes. The seam is there. And this, oops, looks like there's a tiny hole in that one, so I'll have to go back in and kind of tuck that. So I don't know what I did there, but I can see that there's a tiny little hole there. So I'm going to go back, and I'll turn it right side out, and I'll go back in and fix that. But you can kind of see I have a little mattress here, and let me put his bed up here, and you can kind of get the feel of how this is going to look once I get it all stuffed up. This will lay right on here like an old-fashioned striped mattress, except it's a little flat right now. But when I get it all stuffed up, he will have a nice little mattress, and maybe I'll make a tiny little quilt to lay on it, like a little doll bed, because he's like my little baby. So I'm going to get on with this, and hopefully we'll get the end result to you and show you how, at least the mattress. I don't know if I'll get the quilt done today, but just kind of a fun thing, like I said. And if I wasn't very explanatory in what I did, because like I said, this is a small space, and we can always do another video on this. It's really not hard. Like I said, it's just measuring and leaving that 1/4 inch on each seam that you sew, 1/4 inch from the top and when you stop, and you know, back stitch, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and it's pretty simple. And like I said, I learned this a long time ago, and I haven't done it in a long time, so it's just something fun to experiment with if you're she's talking to me. Okay, so I'm going to get on with this, and I will get back with you. Okay, I have a finished mattress. I got it all stuffed. I hand sewed it closed right here, but it's not really noticeable, and it's going to be covered anyway. So I got my little bed here set up. Let me get out of the way so you can kind of see. This is how she looks. It's a little bit spacey here. So I got a little carried away today, so I decided to make a little pillow, and I even made a little pillowcase. So you can kind of see I made the pillow out of the duck, so this little duck-shaped pillow. And then I made like a cheater version of my pillowcase, not like the burrito style pillowcase. So I just, I took a long piece and I measured it to fit the pillow, and then I sewed a zinger and a cuff on each side. And then of course I just sewed down the insides. And this here, so I could make the cuff on the inside and the outside, I had put one edge of it, it's folded in half, if that makes any sense. But I didn't sew it on the, like when it was folded, I sewed it straight. And then I folded it over on the other side, and then I kind of tucked a little hem underneath, and then I stitched it down, if that makes any sense. Really, this is just a play day thing, and this is just something for Tilly. So there's my little pillow, and I really got carried away and decided to go all out and make a little quilt for this bed because I just couldn't resist. And I just did something simple with squares. And I know this is kind of boring because I like something that challenges me, but I really wanted something fast and easy to make this little bed over the top. So I went through some fabrics that I could get to with fat quarters and some scraps, and this is what I came up with. And I had a large piece of this little light blue with these little dogs on it. So that's where I came up with the matching pillow for this, because it has the little dogs on it, which is super cute. And I think Erin got that for me from one of her friends' quilt shops. But this was really super cute. I didn't really count. I just made a bunch of blocks, and it just happened to turn out really perfect. So I just kind of randomly, I kind of laid them out on my table, and this is how I put them together. And then I put two borders on it, and this green border is a scrap that was from my donation quilt for our benefit, I believe. And then this black vintagey looking fabric was a little piece that somebody had sent me, and I'd pulled it out of one of the totes, and I'm like, it's perfect because I wanted some black to put, to kind of frame it out. So I want to show you just what this looks like on this little bed, and I want to make sure my dogs are right side up. Now I am going to quilt this little quilt top, but I'm not going to take it and have it quilted. I want to do something on my machine. So I've got some fabric with some little bones on it. It's like a cream, and it's got the little brown bones on it. And I think some of that fabric is in Tilly's quilt that I just made. But I think that would make a good little back. But I think I got some scrap batting here that I'm just going to piece together, because this is just a tiny quilt, and I just want to have it just to put on top of the mattress to make it look really cute. But I think I'm either going to tie it with some like floss, and do the old-fashioned tying, or I might stitch it in the ditch on my sewing machine. I really haven't decided yet, but I want to show you how darling this little quilt actually fits. I like that it hangs over just enough on the sides, and it tucks down under the bottom of the mattress. So this is kind of what it'll look like. And then of course the little pillow, here, let's put it so you can see it like this way. So, and there's just some fiberfill stuffing, that polyfill or whatever I put in the mattress. So it's just, and of course the springs underneath are, which they kind of sag a little bit, but for Tilly, he doesn't mind. He tried it out earlier and he sat on it. I don't know if he knows what to think of it, but when I put it out in my studio, it's going to be like up against the wall, and it'll just be darling. If a little girl wants to come in and, play with a doll or something, it would be fun for a kid to play with, but really it's Tilly. So this is just something fun. This is a play date for me, so I hope you enjoyed watching me play with my fabrics, and just kind of wanted to bring you in. Not really much of a tutorial kind of thing. This is just more of a fun thing. This is my freestyle kind of thing that I like to do, and I just turned the camera on, so I figured you could all just kind of see what I do. So this is my day. I've had a great day today. My phone didn't even ring except for my mom when she called me here like half an hour ago. So, but I'm just going to finish this up, and I hope you enjoyed my little video here of Tilly's little antique dog bed. This is fun. Let your creativity out. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next video. And if you're new, please like and subscribe, and I will chat at you later. Bye.